Last night, Gator, right before I was about to go to bed, I saw one of the most cringe and idiotic posts by the official Star Wars social media account. Before I could even finish reading it, I got a notification that you tagged me in it to show me.
Yeah.
After like giving it more thought, I have a completely different idea what this strategy might be behind Star Wars social media account that posting this thing than everyone might be thinking. Then they're like cringe SJW virtue signal. But I'll tell you that after I get your first impressions. What did you think of this post when you first saw it?
Well, I mean, I tagged you in it, so that should tell you right away. Like, this is unacceptable. So it is. And, you know, we try not to get political on this channel, and I'm going to try not to get political at all on this either, because, you know, the SJW woke stuff is not necessarily affiliated with any political candidate or party or whatever. This is just purely because Star Wars is so near and dear to us. Yes, this is what the post was. Official Star Wars social media, blue check mark. There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram into the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we only have one thing to say. We resist. It's just the implication that if you have any sort of criticism of this character, it's because you're a racist. It's like, what if it's not? What if the character is just shitty? And honestly, I think this is them realizing the shittiness of their character and preemptively doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about racial backlashes against some of these characters, and I know there have been some instances of it. But I don't think it's as widespread as people claim that it is. And I just can't understand why, when you choose to be a public figure, even if you do see some kind of criticism, even for something unwarranted like the race thing, you know, that's unacceptable. But why is it, you can't handle that, man? It comes with the territory. You know, that's at least my thing. I'm excited to hear your take on this because we need something fresh. Other than, you know, these guys are just like cucking down to everybody and trying to get ahead of this by making excuses. I'm ready.
Yeah, well, let's go through what like my initial reaction of it was as well.
All right.
There's two things to it, right? First is they leave their kind of point about this so unclear that they basically say if people are complaining about this character, you are racist, basically, and we won't take that kind of racism. And, you know, some people on like the anti-SJW, whatever, virtue signal side, they're not all on the left or all on the right. Those people are basically saying, hey, listen, what the fuck are you talking about? People are complaining about this character because she's not well developed. She's horrible character design. Her lines are usually flat and are cringe, right? Those people are coming out and saying this is a stupid post. And then I see other people kind of, you know, whatever you want to call it, clapping back and saying, well, she's getting death threats about whatever stuff about this, about her casting and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if she's getting death threats, put that on the fucking post saying, hey, listen, you know, we all want to enjoy Star Wars content, but death threats are unacceptable of any form. But they don't say that, right? They talk about racism. And if I was to pick, I mean, maybe this is my white privilege speaking here for a second, Gator. But if I were to pick something people are going to post about me or send messages to me about, I would rather say, hey, stop the death threats than stop the racist comments. I feel like death threats are more serious than racist comments.
Yeah, they are, objectively speaking. And this may be an indication that those death threats don't exist. Or maybe it was like one death threat, or maybe it was somebody saying like, I hope you die, not like I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? There is a difference there.
But like you're
saying,
forgive
me for being skeptical.
Yeah, but like you were saying earlier, that they were doing the groundwork before this show even came out about this character not being good or people not liking this character because she's whatever black, right? In that huge Vanity Fair article where we got a bunch of different snippets about Lucasfilm in the future, the actress talks about, you know, hey, how's it feel, you know, being in this role? She says some very cringe things about bringing diversity into Star Wars, something that apparently she's never seen a fucking Star Wars movie before this or property before this. And basically laying the groundwork of, hey, how did I think there was a line in there that how did Disney prepare you for the racist fans? And it's just like, what are you talking about? Holy shit. Disney, you're the racist. You're the one, you know, shrinking Finn in movie posters. You're the one covering Black Panther in Black Panther posters for China. You know, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you're the racist
seriously.
ones.
It is. No one brings it up. There may be fans that bring this up, but you don't see large-scale public figures influential people bringing this kind of stuff up. It's only Disney doing it. It's only Disney and people who share that same mindset. You know what I mean? They're the ones doing it. They're bringing it up in defense of arguments that I don't even think are coming at them. And that's just the craziest part, because it creates this false environment where minorities or whatever need to be on the defense. And I don't think they do. I think that you're going to shave some years off these people's lives by putting them under this insane stress that just doesn't need to be there.
Right. Yep. I totally agree. And we don't want to be talking about this, and we usually don't talk about this kind of stuff. We talk mostly about it feels like it might be a forced casting or forced role in here inserted because of how badly it's executed, because it doesn't feel like this character has been given enough passion or love for them to be well developed and put on the screen properly. But what we'd rather be talking about, which you've always enjoyed talking about, is arguing about the lore, power scaling, and motivations of these characters, not this junk. And they're the ones putting it out there. And I think some people might have an argument with, Finn, where they're like, why is this black stormtrooper? Because everyone up until then always just assumed there's white people underneath there, because all of the officers in the Empire were white. Everybody's white. So you almost got this kind of like white thing out of them this whole time. So, I mean, I can understand that a little bit, but again, it doesn't call for racist comments about it. But again, that's more of a lore question than it is a racist one, right? That's what
totally,
I thought,
100%.
But,
actually, honestly, though, I think that's easily explainable. Just real quick side point. All these guys have British accents, too, and Coruscant is the British accent place in the galaxy or whatever. So Coruscant could have been colonized by a bunch of white people. You know what I mean? For the most part. And that's where Palpatine, I mean, he's a white guy, too. It's easily explicable or whatever. Plus, it's kind of strange. They're like, if you were to use that Empire officer thing as an argument, these guys are pieces of shit. So if you're going to go for your diversity call, I'm not sure why you'd want them to be the shittiest people in the world. But anyway.
Well, I mean, no one has an issue with, I forget what her name is. I think it's Zoe something. That plays Gamora. She's great as Gamora.
Yeah, she is. She's awesome.
Does anyone have any problem with her? She's a great character. I don't think anyone had an issue with Rosario Dawson taking as a role for Ahsoka Tano. I think people initially thought this is a great casting as an older.
Well, dude, do you want to run through real quick? You and me were just talking about this. Let's just real quick, top of our head, shotgun, like 20 seconds.
Okay, yeah, Mace Windu.
Yeah, Mace Lando.
Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera. Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa.
Yeah, you have the captain or whoever of the guard for Padme in Episode 1.
Yeah, you got
talking about.
Yep, you do. You have, we just said, Finn and Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, well, if you're just considering just not white people, so people of color, period.
Yeah, sure. I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, we have those two, what are their names? They have the tentacle heads on the Jedi Council.
Or they're not Twi'leks. Yeah, those two, we talked about them in our Smasher Pass video. They have like the turtle heads and the tentacles. They're both black girls. You also have
Diego Luna as Andor, or Cassian Andor, right? He's Hispanic.
Yep, 100%. I mean, you have Boba Fett, like one of the most prominent characters in all this, if you consider the clones, and Jango Fett as well. You have that dude with the eye patch from Attack of the Clones. I think he's like escorting Padme around, whatever his deal is.
Yep.
Yeah. You have, what's his name from The Mandalorian? Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito. You have Carl Weathers.
Yep, Carl Weathers. Second sister, the main character from Battlefront 2, the new one.
Who's her name? The main character of Boba Fett. That wasn't Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah, Fennec Shand. Yes. Yep, Fennec Shand, absolutely. James Earl Jones.
Yeah, the voice of Darth Vader. The people everyone forgets about.
Yeah, the most iconic voice probably in the history of like media.
Yeah.
Listen, we named a bunch of them. This is just off the top of our heads.
Yeah, right. And so I don't. It's cringe to me that people think that for some reason there's not diversity in Star Wars. If anything, there was more diversity in Star Wars before any of these other properties, right? So and also George Lucas, I think his second or third wife, I'm not sure which order it is a black woman. So to think that Star Wars in any way was some sort of racist or was born in racism or adheres to racist stereotypes is just cringe.
No, it's totally true. Okay, listen, I'm going to say one more thing, too, before you tell me your theory, because I'm excited to hear this thing. I want a little breath of fresh air. But whenever people complain about this stuff, it almost gets received by the opposing side as, like, okay, you're upset in the opposite direction. Like, when somebody claims this whole racism thing, and then we say, well, no, that's not true. They take that to say, like, listen, you are not a victim of anything. The whole, like, white thing has been overdone and done to death and all this. I'm not claiming that there's not enough white people and all this stuff. I'm just saying that this is not a hot button issue. You know what I'm saying? Like by that, I don't feel attacked. I just think that this media should not be used as a platform to talk about someone being attacked in real life. You know, this is an escape. You can put the stuff in there. There's so many examples of media. And listen, you haven't seen Top Gun yet. You'll see Top Gun. There's no diversity stuff in this movie whatsoever, at least not in your face. However, when you look at the cast of this movie, it's basically exactly diverse according to like the US population. So it's probably the most accurate way it could be done. And it's completely, I don't know what you want to say, non-emphasized.
Right. Yeah. And that's, well, I think my biggest criticism of this is that they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to say she's like the best person for the job. What are you talking about? We should just be able to have people in these movies. But then we'll also say like you hate her because she's black. It's like, no, I don't hate her because she's black. I think you guys are more focused on the fact that she's black than we are. I'm looking at her, I'm saying she's fucking cringe. She's badly written. She's a horrible character design. I don't feel... Someone said this, I think it was like Mark with a C. He's a YouTuber. She lacks conviction in whatever she's saying. It doesn't seem like she believes what she's saying. She seems like an actor, not like the character.
Unlike, she does, well, yeah, too. And then that also comes from, though, you know, just every motivation she has, not having any kind of explanation for it. So it just feels like she's doing things arbitrarily. You know, that's really what it is, like obsessed with Kenobi. It's like, why? What could you possibly have connected with Kenobi? Because Anakin's the one that burned down the Jedi Temple or whatever, and Kenobi's the one who's responsible for training him. Like, it's the only connection I can think of. Doesn't matter. We're going to learn it eventually.
This morning, while I was listening to some people's takes on this, I was thinking, okay, I think I understand why this was put out. This was put out so late last night, too, right? This wasn't put out midday.
Oh, yeah.
They, like, put it out to change the headlines for today. And I think it's because we got all this news that Top Gun did break the Memorial Day record. Everyone's talking about Top Gun. Everyone's talking about Top Gun. We saw Obi-Wan was released hours early before Top Gun, like almost surpassed it in SEO ranking, search engine optimization, I think it stands for.
Right, yep.
So basically, Top Gun was going to be talked about more than Obi-Wan during Star Wars Celebration. So they dropped Obi-Wan early, and everyone started talking about it. Again, this happened, you know, as Top Gun was rising up, they released this whole cringe virtue signal to get themselves back on. Now everyone's only talking about Obi-Wan now. Everyone's talking about this Reva shit, not Top Gun. That was my thought, the reason why they posted this.
Shit, man. I was hoping for some kind of like optimistic, like, oh, dude, the silver lining and all this. But this is just scumbag Disney. This is more scumbag Disney. It reminds me of when...
What do you think?
I think that's totally legit, especially when it's so late at night like that. I think a lot of people have more or less shifted their sleep schedules, or at least accommodated, like wake up in the middle of the night to watch Obi-Wan and, you know, whatever else releases on Disney Plus at 2 in the morning, at least our time, 2 in the morning. So yeah, I think so too. I think releasing something late at night like that is pretty strategic, and it is conveniently timed with Top Gun. I think the numbers just came out yesterday that it's like the quickest growing box office in a while, right? Or maybe of all time. Not necessarily the highest numbers. I think that could be totally legit. I think that's actually a pretty good theory. We'll see how it goes if they keep doing it. It's just so pathetic if they do. Like I was gonna say, it reminds me of when they put Avatar back in the theater randomly in 2019, just as Avengers Endgame had made the most money of all time. It's like, we had planned on putting Avatar back in the theater in 2019 since it came out. So it's right.
Yeah, just conveniently. To think Disney doesn't have some sort of other motivation behind this other than a virtue signal is just being ignorant. You have to be thinking that they're not going to, like, I'd like to, you know what, I'm starting to think this through, and then also I think about the Gina Carano shit. And that was all based off of what they've heard online. You know, nothing really was thought out financially about that. Be like, oh yeah, we have all this stuff in the works, and we should just stand by these people that are being hateful. This was all, I don't know, like the comparing this whole situation to Gina Carano is just, doesn't it just blow your mind, the hypocrisy here, though?
Absolutely. I can't comprehend. Well, that's the entire, if you go to the comment section of this post anywhere, you're going to see arguments and takes and comparisons that'll make you want to blow your brains out. And there's nothing you can do. You see one and you're like, oh, I'm going to reply to this and like just totally shut it down. And then you won't anymore, because if you just like exit your tunnel vision and look at all the surrounding comments, you're going to see 10 of them that are just as stupid. So none of this surprises me anymore. The Gina Carano comparison obviously is terrible too. It's inescapable. It's all encompassing, man.
Yeah. So, I mean,
do you think Disney is trying to like gaslight people to make them racist. Like, you've been racist this whole time. Like, your average person, like, holy shit, I have been. I can't believe I've done this.
I think Disney is following the same, what do you want to call, corporate media strategy of, hey, let's divide, and them bickering over it will just give us more clicks and give us higher, like I said, in the SEO rankings.
So you're thinking just purely controversy.
Yeah, like they want to be able to get in, like basically, yeah, let's just create controversy so we can rank higher. People will be talking about it more. People will probably want to subscribe more to Disney Plus, because I think Disney is tanking right now, and I think they're just doing their like little grasps of flailing around to try to get more people to talk about it and maybe sub and do something, because there's no way it was this bad. Like this fucking shit about.
I wouldn't think so.
Hold on, let me try to think of this through. Do a quick little thought experiment here.
Okay.
How many racists, let's just think, how many racists are still watching Star Wars now and even care about it to give this girl a death threat? You know? So they're either just racist. My thought is, like, let's pretend these are sincere racists talking. They're probably just racist, commenting to her and just triggering her. I don't think there's actually racist Star Wars fans out there that are still watching Star Wars and care enough to post on her shit.
No, yeah, that's true. If you are a legitimate racist who can't tolerate to see a person of color on screen or whatever, there's no way you've been watching Star Wars for the last 10 years. You just haven't been. There's no way. And I don't believe that for a fact. Yeah, now that you bring this up,
I'm done with this Star Wars.
Yeah, I've had enough. I could take it until now, but the 50th character that I fucking hate by nature, that's the number where I draw the line. Yeah, exactly. That's just so shitty. It's such a dumb thought process, man. It's
cringe, dude.
Yeah, it is absolutely cringe. You know, if their goal really is just to create controversy, maybe to even say it, have opinions and share opinions that they don't necessarily believe, I can respect that, and you and me can both relate to that. And we'll reveal, we could probably talk about it on the channel at some point. But yeah, I can relate to that because it is funny, and if it is approached with humor in the background, like if there's a bunch of trolls sitting up there in the Disney executive office doing this stuff, I mean, good on them. They're geniuses for doing it because it is doing exactly what they want. Whether or not that translates to profit, I don't know. But if it really is for the troll factor, just to try to stir up some controversy to get them views, I mean, that's totally fine to me. Seriously, it is. Even if they're just blatantly lying, it just comes off so genuine because the virtue signaling has been so thick and intense in pop culture over the last few years. I have a hard time believing it would be with that kind of a nature, but hey, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault a fighter that is losing, is about to die. If that's how you view Star Wars right now, it's like a fighter dying on his last breath, like punching somebody in the balls, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like,
yep.
Oh, hey, that you can't do that. It's like, no, I mean, they're trying to survive here. So if anything, two things. I think one is I definitely think it's the Top Gun. They can't be second fiddle to this remake no one asked for. They're making a Top Gun 2 Maverick is beating them in a competition between Top Gun and Obi-Wan, a beloved character that's been around for how many years now? Is it almost 77 came out, right?
Oh, yeah, so 87, 97.
So it's almost 50 years, dude.
Coming up on it, man. That is...
almost 50 years, and Top Gun 2 is going to beat it out? Come on.
Well, when you see Top Gun 2, you might understand why. But,
well, I'll understand why, but I'm saying, like, I don't... Like, Disney probably is like, fuck!
You know, from an outward perspective, the little pew 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 planes beating out this insane, like, lore-heavy universe. It is pretty crazy. Maybe it's a sign. You should stop putting out so much content. Just desaturate your content pool a little bit. Be a little more selective. I think that might be the key there, Disney.
Yeah, I mean, they basically have a prolapsed content problem right now.
Oh my! By the way, that prolapse image that your wife sent me, unbelievable.
No, it's not hers. It's not hers.
No, it's not hers, but she's seen it.
You saved the photo, right, though?
Yeah, I did.
Wallpaper?
No, lock screen.
Okay. Hey, let us know what you think about this whole Star Wars official post about racist fans that are rampant within Star Wars. Like this video if you like content like this, and smash that subscribe button like we smashed our heads up against the wall last night when we read this post.
And like you'd smash Reva unless you're a racist.
Yeah, get in there, boy.